Daily military reports reported. The three-engine CH-53E Super Stallion equips 6 USMC units and can transport 55 troops or 13,600 kilograms of cargo internally. Alternatively, it can carry a LAV-25 armored vehicle externally. The helicopter is armed with two 7.62mm machine guns for self-defense, and can be refueled in flight from a KC-130 aircraft. The CH-53E is expected to remain in service until 2025. The USMC planned a two-phase service life extension program that will comprise an airframe overhaul followed by an avionics upgrade with new cockpit systems compatible for night operations. The CH-53K King Stallion is the latest version of this heavy-lift helicopter. It was revealed in 2014. The U.S. Marine Corps ordered 200 of these helicopters. Deliveries are expected to begin in 2018. The U.S. Navy operates a derivative of in the Mine Countermeasures (MCM) role. The three-engined MH-53E Sea Dragons tows a variety of MCM and side-scan sonars and equips two joint active reserve HM squadrons, plus an HC squadron in the vertical onboard delivery role. The USAF has operated a variety of twin-engined MH-53 variants in the combat search and rescue and special operations roles. The current MH-53J Pave Low 3 variant is comprehensively equipped for low-level night, all-weather insertion of Special Forces troops in a hostile air defense environment. The major non-US Sikorsky S-65 operator is the German Army, Heeresflieger, with around 96 license-built CH-53 gigaseconds. These received 3 major upgrades: new missile warning and self-protection systems, provision for 2 external fuel tanks allowing range to be increased to 1,800 kilometers when carrying 36 armed soldiers or a 5,500 kilogram payload, and addition of a night vision goggles-compatible cockpit for night low-level flying capabilities. All CH-53 gigaseconds had been upgraded by Eurocopter Germany by early 2001. Other lesser operators are Israeli Air Force, which has 2 squadrons of upgraded CH-53D Yasser 2000 transports, and the Iranian Navy, which operates 5 former MCM-tasked RH-53Ds as logistical transports. The Sikorsky CH-53 Sea Stallion is a heavy-lift military transport helicopter. The CH-53A carries a crew of 4, pilot, co-pilot, crew chief, and an aerial observer. It can carry various payloads, including up to 38 fully equipped troops, 24 litters with medical attendants, an internal cargo load of 8,000 pounds, 3,600 kilograms, or an external load of 13,000 pounds, 5,900 kilograms, on the single-point sling hook. Access to the main cabin is via the large passenger door on the right side of the fuselage behind the cockpit, as well as by a power-operated loading ramp to the rear. This loading ramp was capable of facilitating drive-on-loading operations, enabling quicker cargo movements. The CH-53A was designed to have a useful payload capacity, in terms of weight, of almost half of the rotorcraft's empty weight. It is provisioned with mechanical flight controls, which are backed by 3 independent hydraulic systems. As noted by Sikorsky engineer Edward S. Carter Jr., the rotorcraft could be equipped to facilitate all-weather operations. It shares a somewhat similar fuselage design, albeit on a substantially larger scale, with the Sikorsky S61R series. While the Sea Stallion's fuselage is watertight, the helicopter is not intended for amphibious use, and its ability to land on water is meant to only be used in emergency situations. To save space, which is normally at a premium on board most naval vessels, both the tailboom and the rotors can be folded while the helicopter is stowed. To reduce the workload involved in this process, an automated folding system was developed by Sikorsky. Both the crew and vital systems are protected by armoring across key areas. All of the fuel was housed within sponsons on either side of the fuselage. The CH-53A was typically equipped with a pair of 7.62 x 51mm NATO M60 machine guns that point out to each side of the fuselage. The CH-53A features a fully articulated 6-bladed main rotor and 4-bladed tail rotor. According to Carter, the relatively high speed requirement stipulated by the USMC was the primary factor shaping the dynamic design. While the Sea Stallion's dynamic systems were largely derived from those used on the earlier Sikorsky S-64 Skycrane, substantial re-engineering were also involved due to the vastly different operating requirements. Extensive use of titanium was made across its dynamic components, particularly for elements that may have been susceptible to degradation over time due to metal fatigue. Initially, the CH-53 was powered by a pair of General Electric T-64-6 turboshaft engines, each of which provided up to 2,850 shaft horsepower, 2,130 kilowatts. These engines were located on the upper fuselage. Later engines included the T-64-1, capable of generating up to 3,080 shp, 2,300 kilowatts, and the T-64-16, which was rated for up to 3,485 shp, 2,599 kilowatts. The HH-53B model featured T-64-3 engines, which produced up to 308. The improved CH-53D features upgraded engines, initially using the T-64GE412 that could provide up to 3,695 shp, 2,755 kilowatts, then the T-64-413 with its further elevated output of 3,925 shp, 2,927 kilowatts. These more powerful engines necessitated the use of an upgraded transmission. Interior changes included additional seats, which allowed for up to 55 troops to be carried at a time. The CH-53D is generally armed with twin .50 BMG, 12.7mm M2, XM218 machine guns. During the type's later years of service, it has become commonplace for CH-53Ds to have been retrofitted with various defensive countermeasures. Such apparatus has often included an AL-39 chaff dispenser and an ALQ-157 infrared countermeasure. Later production CH-53Ds featured a blade inspection method, BIM, scheme to detect cracks in its metal rotors. BIM involved pressurizing the interior of the rotor blades with nitrogen. If a crack is present, pressure is lost and a red indicator on the rotor blade tip was tripped. Later, the BIM system was connected to a cockpit display. BIM reduced the need to routinely swap rotor blades. The CH-53, HH-53 has seen considerable use in war zones and served in various conflicts during its service. It was first used in the Vietnam War, often recovering downed aircraft and evacuating personnel. The CH-53D served alongside the CH-53A through the latter portion of the U.S.'s presence in Vietnam. Both types played a critical role at the end of the conflict, performing evacuations of personnel during Operation Frequent Wind.